The March 26, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen will come to order. You can join us with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just to start, we wanted to share our sadness about the recent loss of Raul, who was a member of our Inland and Wetlands and Watercourses Commission. We send our condolences to his family and friends and to members of the commission that served with him. And I would just ask for a moment of silence. Thank you. And now we have, just for those here, we're going to interview Dennis Unites for a position on the WPCA. He is calling in by phone. Dennis, we really appreciate it. So we have our kind of three basic questions. This time, Deb, do you want to start?
Sure. Can you hear me okay, Dennis?
Yes.
Okay. So the first question is, what's your opinion of the responsibilities and primary function of the WPCA?
Well, just about any of the boards, I would see the responsibility to make sure that the actions that are carried out are really in the best interest of the town. And for the WPCA, you also have the additional complication of you have to satisfy various environmental regulations, the water discharges, and that's one thing to keep in mind as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Ben,
Sure. Hi, Dennis. It's Ben Tamsky.
Hey, Ben?
We'd like to know what pertinent experience you have serving on a board, commission, or another volunteer capacity, and in responding, please include professional and volunteer experience and what unique skill set you would bring to the commission.
Okay, well, there's a number of boards I've been on. Probably the earliest one was the Haddam Inland Wetlands Commission. That I was chairman of for a number of years. I was on the State Board of Licensing for professional, environmental professionals for, I believe it was probably around 10 years. And that included the period of time where the regulations essentially were developed for the board and for the licensed environmental professionals. In town, I am involved in the Inland Wetlands Commission and the Climate Change Task Force and the water board. I'll refer to the water board.
Good enough. Yeah,
I
we
never
don't
did
have
it
enough
right.
time anyway.
And as far as experience goes, my entire professional career has been developed it's been involved in the environment, and often I am not so much in the question of wastewater treatment, but usually the back of the treatment where the discharges are going into some of the streams. So we've been involved with that, and also involved with the kinds of things that one can discharge to a system. So I have some familiarity with the wastewater treatment. My primary skills are in geology and the groundwater movement. So those are my strongest areas.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dennis. So last question, if you are appointed to the WPCA, what would you consider to be a successful outcome to your tenure with the authority?
Well, with tenure with the authority and what's coming up in the future, from what I know, it would be successful would be the selection of a advisor for the long-term planning for the WPCA, and the other would be that we have considered the the development, the growth of the town in terms of where we're going in the future.
Thank you so much, Dennis. Do you have any questions for us?
Not really.
Do you guys have any follow-up questions for Dennis?
No?
No,
Nope.
Dennis, thank you so much. Really appreciate it very much. And we will let you go, and we'll likely be making a decision at our next meeting.
All right, well, thank you, and I hope all is going well with you.
Thank
Take care.
you, too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis.
Do you want your phone back really quick? Who knows what we might do with that? Thank you. And then just in case anyone doesn't know what the WPCA, it basically controls our sewer system in the town. So it's a pretty important board. And with the charter revision, we added 2 alternate seats, so that's what we're interviewing for, just in case it's of interest. So comments from the public. Any comments from the public? If not, do I hear a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of March 12th?
So moved?
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope, thank you, Stacy.
Great.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. So under correspondence, I want to note that Iman Brady submitted an application for the Housing Opportunities Commission, and Julie Granger submitted a request to be moved from an alternate member to a regular member of the Inlands and Wetlands and Watercourses Commission, which we can talk about in a moment. Then under appointments, Commission on Aging, after a little back and forth, could I get a motion to appoint again Susan Sedensky back to the Commission on Aging? She did resign at the last meeting, but has since been able to rearrange her commitments, which we really appreciate. So that way a member from the Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center will stay on the Commission on Aging.
So,
Second.
Any further discussion?
No, it's just important that there be somebody from the Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center. So,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, and we'll thank Susan for doing that. Could I also get a motion to reappoint Melanie Degler to the Stonington Harbor Management Commission?
So moved?
second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
I would just
She's
say.
invaluable.
Yeah, she's amazing. She does such fantastic work. I mean, another example of these volunteers who just take on so much work that could be like a paid staff person.
Yeah, she really does the heavy lifting.
Thank you, Melanie. And if you see Melanie or know her, thank her. To the 3 people that might be watching this. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission. So at our last meeting, this item was tabled as we had 4 regular members, which did include Raul, and then 1 alternate member, all with terms expiring in April and who all requested reappointment. We also received an application from a new candidate and a request from an alternate, which we just mentioned, to move to now a regular seat. During the meeting, we agreed to review prior to this meeting all reappointment requests and the applications from the new candidate, whom we previously interviewed. This is just my feeling, but at this point, I feel confident in supporting all the reappointments, including Julie's request to transition from alternate to regular, and propose moving forward with these decisions tonight. And then this will still create an opening for an alternate seat, so back to kind of where we were, for which we can be accepting applications and will include the consideration of the previous applicant. I also did want to just note that that commission has not had the opportunity to meet yet since Raul's passing, and we do know it's a great loss to the commission. So that's just my brainstorm thoughts. What, Ben or Debbie, what are your thoughts?
I totally agree. And Julie would be wonderful to move up as a regular member because she's she's been there and very active.
Yeah, I'm in favor of reappointing all 3 permanent members and moving up Julie. As far as the alternates, I don't feel that we need to put that off. I would like to, we have 2 candidates for 2 openings now. I'd like to propose.
We only have 1 candidate.
We only have 1 candidate for.
We have Peter who wants to be
He's being
reappointed.
reappointed.
But he's reappointed, it's not, and I think, almost every time, if we
I
have,
wouldn't support that. I would support the regular members, the reappointments of the regular members. And I would hold off on-
all right, I just respectfully disagree, because I think we always
I
hold
understand.
open an alternate, like, if we have a seat open, we always hold open to do see if anybody else is interested, to give them a chance, because this
Agreed.
hasn't even been posted yet. And then everybody else who's on there wants to be reappointed and stay on, and we do have an open seat, so I guess I just don't see a downside, there's
I
still
don't
a
know.
seat.
And they're all
Okay, well, my choice-
contributing.
Yeah,
well
my,
to-
my choice would be to nominate J.D. Fontanella for the alternate position that you're going to act on tonight then, as opposed to Peter
As opposed to the
Gardner.
opening one?
As opposed to Peter Gardner.
I'm not ready
I
to
can't
do that.
support him, so.
I understand. I don't know why, but I understand that that's your point of view. So.
So maybe, let me see if I can break it down. So could I get a motion to reappoint Dennis Unites and Michael,
Vanguard.
thank you, yeah, sorry, Michael, as regular members? And to, let's stop there. So can I get a motion?
So moved.
So all those in-
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. Can I get a motion to appoint Julie Granger, moving from an alternate to a regular member?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Can I get, or I'll make a motion to reappoint Peter, still remaining as an alternate.
So moved. Oh, you made a motion, so I second. Sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, the motion still carries. Okay, and then we will post that there is an alternate
Yep.
position. We'll consider the existing applicant, leave it open like we usually do, usually at least till our next meeting, if not, give a full month, and then move from there and see if, what happens. All right, that doesn't matter. Okay, new business. Street numbers. The request is for street number from map 180, block 1, lot 10C to become street number 1, Heron Road, Mystic, Connecticut, 06355. Do I hear a motion to approve the street number assignment?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
I'll just say that for anyone interested in the audience, I learned this, I didn't know this prior to being on this board, but these are really important because it's basically how EMS, like first responders, then find, obviously, the houses. So we used to giggle about this one, but now we know it's really, really
And the
important.
postal
And the
service.
postal service, they matter too,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. And you get your mail. And you don't have to say, I live at map 180,
Oh,
block 1, lot 10C. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Do I hear a motion to approve the use of Donahue Park by the Ocean Community Chamber for the annual duck race on Saturday, April 26, 2025? Just to note, this was approved by the Board of Police Commission and share with the Waterfront Commission, who are meeting tonight.
So moved.
For a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it might be our quickest meeting ever. Quite exhausted. The next item on the agenda is comments from the selectmen. Anyone start?
Sure. Well, first of all, I mean, I guess a little premature for congratulations, but thanks for getting the budget as far as you have. You and your staff, and also thanks, of
Team
course,
did a
to
good
the,
job.
to the Board of Finance. It's a lot of late meetings, I know, all the time. I think you're to be commended for getting it as far as it's going on. Hopefully it will pass. Other than that, Pawcatuck River Harbor Management Commission came up at the last month's meeting that there's one of the day markers on the river, the pilings that have the dolphin pilings has been knocked over either by a barge or by the ice during the winter and needs to be replaced. And they didn't seem to know how to move forward with it because they don't have a budget since they don't have a plan yet. So I suggested that they reach out to Jim Sullivan, which they did. And I guess that's sort of in process, but I called him yesterday. I know he's really busy, but I grabbed him for a minute just to see if we had heard from them. And he sort of didn't really know about it. He mentioned that he had seen something, but just so that you know about it, they will, in the coming week, I guess,
Yeah,
Jay Douglas or Jim Kading will reach out to.
Okay, yeah, we'll do some due diligence because the harbor stuff is tricky because some things go more to the state, some things are us, obviously some things we have to deal with westerly. So yeah, I don't think Jim Jim knows everything, but not necessarily his area. So we'll make a note to just follow
Yeah,
up.
the only reason I mentioned him is because the only
need
person
money?
I could think of, well, no, I called Tim O'Brien, because I figured Tim, obviously,
yeah.
he's the chairman of the Board of Finance, but also he probably knows the river and that section of the river better than
Yeah.
anybody in town, and he immediately just said, well, talk to Jim Sullivan. So that's what.
Okay, no, thank you for letting us know. We'll follow up.
But it
with
is
them.
something that
to
whoever's
happen.
responsible, it really needs to be done, because the voting season's going to be starting, and it's a critical marker where the channel shifts to
Yeah.
the west, so.
I think depending on the location too, it can be, different state or federal firms. So yeah, let's.
Yeah,
follow up.
it's
It
definitely
sounds
on our
tricky.
side of the river, though, it's not Westwood.
Okay. No, thanks for bringing that up.
That's
Okay.
it.
That's it? Okay.
So I just had a couple things. One question, because it kind of reminded me, we've seen a couple emails from Tori Gimble about the breakwater. So I just wanted to find out, where does that stand?
Yeah, it's a really good question. We've sent, and I don't mean this with any disrespect, because I know state
Yeah.
agencies are very busy, but we've sent a lot of emails from different people, myself, our town engineer, Tori, DACO, to Deep. We finally got one confirmation email probably a month ago acknowledging it and saying within a few weeks they'd get back to us about the extension for the permit. And
Deep is just unresponsive.
we're
on
still
everything.
waiting. So that's challenging. The other thing, and I'm sure I didn't make things easier with my initial email, but we're still trying to follow up with this, is we have a letter from when I think Simmons was here. They had investigated it and confirmed the town of Stonington does not own that breakwater.
Right.
The state does, Deep does. It's not the Army Corps, it's not the town, it's the state. And we have a letter saying that. I was trying to get an understanding from them. I don't know if it's like a DOT situation where it's like, yeah, sure, the state owns the road, but if we want to do any improvements, it's on us. I'm sort of assuming that's what it is, but I want something in writing because we're not going to go after grants and, funding for this if it's really the state's responsibility, which, I mean, it should be, but that's a whole other story. So we're still trying to get confirmation. In fairness to Deep, our main contact had been out until early March. So we're circling back with him and hopefully maybe he'll be a little bit more responsive. But I have a feeling maybe they don't know and they're trying to figure it out and not answering us. But so yes, and Tori's been wonderful and she's been really staying on everybody. But my understanding is that because they responded to us and we got the request in before I think it actually expires maybe today or yesterday. We should be fine, because they acknowledged it, and we started emailing them months ago, and they acknowledged it before the deadline, so I think we're fine with the permit being extended, but we'll see. Maybe it'll make them upset.
And that was her main concern, was that.
Exactly.
Permit that's
Yeah,
run out.
yeah. Okay, so that's good, thank you, thank you.
It's-
Yeah, and speaking, a couple things of Deep.
Yeah, I know, it was at WPCA last night, and, permitting
they're-
for our plants, and
Yeah.
Boathouse?
Boathouse Park is the best, the Boathouse Park. Well, it took them forever. I did see a public
2
notice.
years?
Yeah, I did see a public notice for them that it looks like they intend to approve our dock permit.
Okay,
But 2 years later, after receiving our remedial action plan,
How funny.
in their own regulations, they have 45 days to comment. 2 years later, they came back to us with comments.
and what changes?
Yeah, and want changes. And we're just like,
And we're trying to be good partners.
yes, we are. And,
But-
there's some things that
Doesn't-
we can
Doesn't help
change.
be anything other than
Yeah,
good point.
But it's like, wait a minute, guys, 2 years later, and you're way past the date of being, and it's an LEP-led site, so, but we're not ignoring them, we're trying to be good partners with them.
Thank goodness
so.
we have you and your expertise to
But,
talk to them.
So, and sort of state, not state, the Brownfield tab group is coming down here on Friday.
Okay, thank you,
To
you're
do
leading
some
that,
kind of
right?
a site visit, I guess I'm leading it.
Okay,
I'm
thank
hoping
you.
that I'm just kind of navigating, so I really don't know, but we're going to meet at Town Hall and then
Thank
we'll
you.
see, so we'll
Okay.
see how that goes. It'll be interesting. And then finally, and I'll, send something to you guys, because maybe you can contribute, and I also, when I was at the water board, the FERC, we talked about this there. Circa is putting a webinar together and reached out to me to see if I would do like 5 minutes of comments relative to, how some of the town of Stonington's concerns and some of our feelings about the initial research. So I'm going to send that to you guys because I want a contribution, and I talked to Chris Houlihan and the board about that too. So it's like just 5 minutes
Yeah.
of comments.
Okay,
I was like, okay. So think about things, I'm thinking, because the treatment plants and, some of the things we're seeing, but it's also kind of a town-wide issue. I don't want to just focus on Mystic, so.
Yeah,
All right.
thank
so
you.
It's probably good for now.
Oh, can I just,
Yeah.
I forgot, just one
Of course.
anecdote. Two projects that have been done, the voting hall parking lot, I know that's an issue, there's still issues there, but that and the Washington Street catch basin, both locations. Now, the voting hall, there's supposed to be a backflow preventer there, right? We had a high tide, not a especially high tide, just kind of like a little bit of a high tide earlier in the month. Catch basins at the voting hall and on Washington Street at the site of the new project were both
I do know Washington
Inflowing.
Street isn't done.
Washington Street's still
Not
in
done.
progress.
It
There's
still
still not-
has a final phase that I
Is
should,
there supposed to be a backflow preventer there?
there's something. And I know they said don't count, like, until it's completely done, it will keep
Okay.
flooding. So hopefully that one's fine. And then obviously the 4th District voting hall is challenging.
Yeah.
That's why we,
But
hopefully in
is there
the,
a problem with the work that they did, though? I know there's more work that needs to be done, but it seems that,
Something, the one that went in was perhaps not the appropriate backhoe. I'm not certain the exact issue with it, I just know that.
we can get for the next meeting.
Yeah,
I
we
think we'll
can find
get
out,
Chris.
because it doesn't
yeah, it
work
just doesn't
right out.
seem, it just doesn't seem right that it should have been backing up
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand if it was raining, that it's not draining properly, but this was actually, seawater coming.
There's another issue that kind of came up after the initial work, and I don't
That I
recall if
understand.
it's whether it's the design or if it's something else. but-
Maybe get that, right?
Yeah, that
Brain
would be
is
helpful
actually a
to
big
know.
shutdown this week. All right, Washington Street.
Yeah,
that
they're
one I know,
still
and then
working on
4th District,
I didn't realize
Street.
they're still working on that, because
Yeah, and Amtrak's been super fun to work with on that one.
they buttoned up the Washington Street end of it, though.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
still have to
The
do
other
this
one.
like final step that they were waiting for, I think right around now. And then thankfully Debbie's been helping with some of the Amtrak issues.
Did they finish with removing the contaminated soil from the site, or is it
It's
still
at
there?
the, no, it's not on the site,
It's
but
not on the
it's,
site.
It's at
we're
the
s-
WPCA
yeah,
still?
it's still in a holding tank and while we're trying to get Amtrak to take responsibility. But we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that
That was
goes.
super fun. I'll be really brief because I don't feel like I'm really functioning as a human anymore. Yes, with the budget, thank you for saying that. Everybody obviously has worked really hard. We'll do an update, pretty soon on the town website. We have a month till the actual budget passes. I've had a few calls today with the superintendent and with other people. We have another meeting on Friday, talk about the middle school. So I think hopefully we're moving in the right direction. Obviously, there's different feelings about how last night went, but I hope overall we kind of come together and realize, I think everybody's trying to do their best with a really challenging situation. So we'll see what happens with that, but we're trying to move forward on everything in a positive direction. And then I will say also, I can't even think about what's going on. It's completely shut down. There's just a million things happening all at once. I will say on the grant front, just because we just had an outreach with Pawtucket Fire Department, we're still waiting on the HUD with the new administration to re-review everything with the water loop, from environmental review to the actual, initiative, why we're doing the project. I feel fairly confident it will be okay because we have a signed contract. It is a fire safety issue, and we have everything 100% ready to go, so we're just waiting on them to give us the green light, and then we can put that out to bid. It was supposed to go out in March, it was actually done on time, but here we are. Similar with the town dock, for the North Pier, it's I'd say 99% ready to go. I think they just we just have to check a few last minute things, but again, we need the okay from federal government, different funding source, to give the green light. And review the bid documents that were good. So again, hopefully everything's okay with that. And then we've been,
I'm sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, but on that town dock project,
Yeah.
is that something that can go ahead at any time, though, or do they have to wait through
No.
the summer?
they were very specific, so mostly with Mr. Gilbert and the scallop boats that are tied there, and they're quite large. They really wanted us to wait until this like late spring
Yeah, if you
timeframe.
don't make
Yeah,
that.
and then they really want it to be done by a certain time, so if not, it's gonna be a little bit challenging, because I think it gets windy certain times, and there was challenges, so we're still okay now, but we'll have to, it's gonna be challenging if they take too long. Then just there's been a lot of activity at the state, a lot of testimony. On Monday, I testified on a few different things. I'd encourage, like we've talked about, for you all and anyone in your circle to really, it's hard because there's like way too many bills that are happening, but to try and follow them. Representative Baumgardner, I think, put in a really great bill about short-term rentals that we testified in support of, and actually the entire tourism caucus circulated it and are trying to encourage people to be supportive of that. So I think once we see what comes out of committee and where things stand, there'll be a whole nother chance to engage people on it. The 1% sales tax is still alive, so we'll see where that goes. There's a bill from DCD to look at taxation. I testified asking that they expand it to look not just at like economic development taxation, but to look at tax exempt properties and how that impacts municipalities. So we'll see how that goes over. We had a COG meeting last week, and I asked everybody, and they were supportive. If they did call me naive, but they said they'd do it anyways, so that we could send a group letter to basically all those in positions of power at the state to really look at the 1,400 plus unfunded mandates and this property tax exemption issue more broadly. So I'm working on that, and we'll circulate it, and then hopefully maybe we'll get some traction with it. And again, our delegation's been great. They've been really responsive and listening, but there are 3 people out of many. So we'll see where we go with that. I'm just trying, is there anything else really important to update on? All right, any questions? There's a lot going on.
There is, I can't think of it.
Yeah, if you guys think of things that you want updates on, just
No,
let me know.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's it. All right, work. If there's nothing else, we can adjourn.